Learn to create a mobile responsive personal portfolio website with Next.js, Three.js, and Tailwind CSS. This is a fun project to improve your front-end development skills. CodeBugs created this course.
Hi there. Hope you are all doing great. The music that you are listening is coming from this portfolio. Today we will build this unique portfolio from scratch using the Next.js, Three.js, and Tailwind CSS. So let me reload this again and clear out the local storage values so that you can see the consent window for whether you like to play the background music or not. As you can see the consent window appear. This window will appear when you load this portfolio for the first time, and then it will store your preference in the local storage. So once I click on the yes, it will start playing the music. For now, let me pause it and reload this page again so that you can see the animation of these buttons. As you can see, the buttons has pop-up animations on page reload. Now in the center, we have this 3D model of a young wizard. In the background, I have this amazing image of a magical forest that I have created using the AI. I will also show you how you can create such images for your projects. Now, if you focus in the background, we have this firefly animations where the yellow dots are randomly moving around. We will create this animation from the scratch. Now, whenever I hover on any of these icons, it will show me the icon label, and also it will pause the whole animation as well. So we have icons for the home page, about page, projects page, contact page, along with the social media links and the resume. So let me open the about page first. Now, same as the home page, the background image is generated with the help of an AI. In this page, I have rendered the 3D model of wizard's head. Then there is my name and the text. Next, we have few details and Github account states along with the skills icons. Now, the states that you are seeing right now are real and not any hard-coded data. Let's go to home page again and let me open the projects page. Now in this page, I have rendered the wizard's magical staff on the left, and in the center, we have a list of projects that has a pop-up animation same as the navigation buttons. You can directly click on any of these projects to open them. And next, let me show you the contact page. Now I have kept the title and the text related to the theme of this portfolio. Now let's fill up this form and just add the random data. And let's click on this cast your message button. As you can see, we have a notification. This notification will show the loading state and the success message as well. That means I have received this data on my email. We will use the email.js to get the form queries directly to your email account. Now this form has validation applied to each field, so whenever you add any wrong information, it will also show you the error message. For example, when I click on this submit button, it will show the errors. Now this portfolio is mobile responsive. Let me show you the mobile version. Now as you can see, for the smaller screens, we will not animate these buttons. Instead, we will keep them on the sides of the screens. So let's open the About page. Next, we have Projects page. For the mobile version, we will render the staff at the center. Next, we have Contact page. That's it. And whenever you will click on this resume, it will open the PDF in the next window. Let me show that to you as well. So it will open this dummy PDF file. Now let's start by closing the starter code repo. So open this link in your browser and copy this URL. Let's open the terminal window and just write git clone and paste the URL. Now I have also installed this starter code file. So let me change its directory. Now once you are in the same directory, just write npm install. So this will install all the required libraries. And then let's open this in a VS Code by typing code dot, and let's start the development server as well. First, let me show the dependencies that we are going to use. So first is the email.js. We will use this to send the email from the contact form. And next is the React 3 fiber. Now this is it's like a React renderer for Three.js. And next is the React 3/Dre. It is a collection of useful helpers and abstractions for React 3 fiber. And next is the CLSX. That is the small utility. We can use it to like construct the class names conditionally. Next, we have framer motion for the animation, and we are going to use the icons from the Lucid. Then we have React hook form for the to implement the form, and then we have Sonar. We will use this to show the notifications like toast, and then we have Three.js to render the 3D models. Now in the public folder, you will have one audio file, backgrounds, and the 3D models. So first, let's start with the Layout.js file. We are going to use this same fonts. So first, let's create one variable. Now to use these fonts in the Tailwind, we also have to define this variable in the Tailwind config file. So let's open that. Let me remove this. Now in the inside the extend, let's add font family, and here let's give it a name enter, and just write variable dash dash font dash enter. So now we can use this enter fonts by just writing font dash enter. Now instead of this class name, just write variable. Also let's add the different colors in the Tailwind config file. For that you will have one file called data.js. Here I have already added a few data for the projects and the name buttons. So let's copy this and open the globals.css file. Now inside this root, we'll add all the required variables. Let me remove this and this as well. Now we will add this root at the base layer. So just write layer and write base, and inside that let's paste this variables. Now let's use these variables in the Tailwind config file. After the font family, write colors and just write background. Now this variable are in the RGB format. So for that we will use RGB and variable name. You can select the same keyword by selecting this first and just press Ctrl D. So it will select the next same keyword. Just write the accent color. That's it. Now let's add the background and foreground color right here. For that we will use the CLSX utility. You just have to define you can combine different class names using this utility. So we'll use inter.variable along with the bg-background and text-foreground. That's it. Let's see if this is applied or not. We have one problem here in the globals.css file. Let's comment this out. Alright, I guess it is applied right here. Now let's start with the home page. So let me close all this and open this page.js. Let's delete everything inside this main tag. Let's keep this as it is, items to center, justify between, and instead of this padding, let's add relative keyword. Now inside this main, first we will add the background image. So just write image, and in the src let's just add bg. Alt text, let's add background image, and let's add class names. Keep the width to full, edge to full, object to cover, object to center as well, and set the opacity to 25. That's it. Now let's import this bg. Import bg from public /background/ home-background.png file. Let's save this. And here we have this background. Now let me show you how we can create this background using the AI. So I have given one file called image prompts. Here you will find all the details on how I have created this images. So we are going to use the playground AI for that, and we are going to use the stable diffusion XL model with the real viz filter, and image dimension are going to be 1024 by 576, and for the quality we will use 30 steps. And this is the prompt that I have used for this homepage background. So let me show you how you can do this as well. Just copy the prompt and let's open the playground AI. And if you are using this for the first time, you will have to create the canvas file, and then you can directly open that file. Now you will find this square right here. You can adjust the image dimensions from here. I have already set it to 16 by 9, and you can type your prompt right here, but make sure that you select the model from here. So select the stable diffusion XL, and from the filter let's select the real viz XL. Also quality is 30 steps, so it is already set. So let me click on generate. So this will take a few seconds to generate the image, And also, if you want to go deeper into this playground AI, then you can always find lots of tutorials on the YouTube as well. And as you can see, it has generated almost the same image. You will not get the exact same image like this unless you have to try like multiple times, but you can also change your prompt as well. But you can also do one more thing. Now whenever AI generates any image, each image have a unique number called the seed. So this seed belongs to only to this image. It is like a unique ID for this image, so you can also use this one. So this is the seed of this background image that I have created. You can use the same seed to generate almost the same image as well. So for that, you just have to type the seed right here and click on the generate again. Now as you can see, it has like almost all the features that this image has, like the trees and all the other stuff. But you can always like change the prompts and recreate these images. So same as this image, you can create the other images as well if you don't like the one that I have created. But whenever you use these images in your commercial project, make sure to read the terms and conditions of the playground.com. So this is how you can create this awesome looking AI images. Also check out different filters and also different models as well from here. So that's it for the image generation. Now let's see how we can render the 3D model in the center of the screen. So let's open the src folder, and inside this src, let's create one more folder called components. Now inside this components folder, we will create one file called render model.jsx. Now in this component, we will pass the children and the class names. Now we will first import the canvas element from the React 3 fiber, and we will render the model inside this canvas element. So first let's add the suspense from the React. So it will load the model asynchronously, and just pass the children. Let's add a class name in this canvas element. Let's use the CLSX utility and write width to screen, height to screen as well, set the position to relative, and let's add the class name from the props. Let's save this and let's use this render model inside the page.js file. Now after this image, let's create one div, and inside this div, let's add one class name. So right width to full, edge to screen, and let's render the edge to screen. Now in here, we will render the navigation component and the 3D model component. So before all this, let's see how we can use the 3D models. So I have downloaded 3D models from the Sketchfab from this website, and let me show you how we can like compress the 3D models, because the original size of the model is like a lot big for the web projects. So let me show you. So these are the three models that we are going to use. So if you see the file, it is like a 22 MB, 7 MB, 17 MB. So let me show you how we can compress these models. So first, let's open the, let's create a new folder called wizard, and let me copy this wizard model right here, and let's extract all the files. So without compression, we can directly use this scene file to like render the model, but let's compress this. So we will use gltf JSX tool to compress this model. Here is how we can use it. Just write npx gltf JSX and the model name and different options. So we'll use the transform, so it will transform the asset for the web. So let's use this. Just copy this. Let's open this inside the command prompt and just write npx gltf JSX, and let's see the model name. It is gltf format, so scene.gltf. And let's add the transform option. Now this will refine the model and make it usable for the web projects. So if you see the single file, it only has 3.5 MB size, so we can directly use this in our web project. And along with this, it has also created this scene.js file that that is the React component of this model. So let me open this. So as you can see, we can directly use this file and render it inside our render model.jsx component. Let me close this, and first make sure to copy this scene.transform file into the public directory. But I also done that. You will get all the models inside the public models folder. I have already transformed all the models, but I wanted to show you how you can also use gltf JSX tool to transform any model into web compatible. You can also use this website as well. Just go to this and add your model here. Let me grab this. As you can see, it will give you the React component of this model. You can also like add or remove few options from right here. You can also keep the names of these meshes, and you just have to copy everything from right here and create a new file inside the models. So instead of this, let me open the models from the public folder models, and let's grab this one. Let's copy this file. Now inside the src, inside the components, let's create one more folder called models, and in here let's create one file called wizard.jsx and paste this. Now let's change this name. Now that's it. Now here we are going to use this useref to like move or animate the model. So whenever we use any like any hooks or anything that requires the DOM elements or a window, we have to convert this to a client component, and for that you can use client directive at the top of this component. Let's save this, and let's see how we can render this. So let's use default keyword here. Now let's go to the page.js file, and right here, first we will import the render model component, and inside the render model component, we will pass the wizard model. Let's change its name to wizard. Let's save this and see if it is working or not. Now we also have to use the use client directive inside this render model component as well. We have to make this a client component. Let's change the location of this model. So right here, instead of this, just write models / wizard-transform.glb. So because our models are in the public directory in the models folder, and right here, let's copy this and paste it right here as well. We have our model, but it is after the background, so let's change the z index, and in render model file, let's add the -z-10 z index. Also, along with this, we will make this image to fill up the whole screen, so just add fill, so it will make this background image absolute. And we have our model on top right here. Let's adjust the position of this model. So go to the wizard.jsx file. Let me explain this file first. So here we are using this use GLDF to load the GLB or GLDF models, and it will give us the nodes and materials of the 3D model. Then we are using group to group all the different meshes of this 3D model, and we are using use gldf.preload. So this will preload the model, and inside in this group we can like adjust the position of the 3D object. So just write position, and inside the array, let's write 0 for the x, -1.5 for the y, and 0 for the z. Okay, it is getting down a bit, and it is a lot bigger, so let's decrease the scale as well. So in the scale, let's add 0.06. Now I already know these values because I have already experimented with it. So you can like change different values and see how it looks. Okay, it is right here. Let me debug this. I think I made a typo mistake right here. So let's open the page.js, and instead of screen, it should be screen. And now it looks great. Now here we don't have any lights, so that's why the model is dark. So let's add the light here. Now we can also add different lights such as ambient light or point lights, but instead let's add the environment. So go to the render model, and after the suspense, let's add the environment. And there are multiple presets that you can use in this environment. Let me show you. So we have apartment, city, dawn, forest. So what environment does, it's like it will create the environment around that model. So it will look like that. So if I use the night, and let's save this, so it will have a lighting condition for the night, and we're going to use the dawn, so it will look a bit brighter. This looks great, but now this model is a bit on the back side, so let's change its angle. So for that we can use the rotation. So just write rotation, and inside this rotation We will rotate it for the 0.25% of the x-axis, 0 for the y and 0 for the z. Let's save this. And now it looks much better. Now you have to like manipulate these values based on the configuration of your 3D model, and you can also use Three.js editor to like edit your current 3D model. Let me show you how you can use this. So you just have to like grab your 3D model and paste it right here. Now as you can see, the model is right here. You can change the position and different scales from here as well. Like if I set this to 0.06 and set 0.06 for the y as well. Now you can also change the environment from here. And based on that, you can adjust like multiple things like position, rotation, scale, etc. And then you can download the model from right here. You can export in like multiple formats, but use the GLTF or the GLB format. Now let's see how we can move this model up and down a bit. Now to animate this model, we are going to use the use frame hook from the React 3 fiber. So let's see what it does. Just write use frame hook. So as mentioned here, this hook allows you to execute the code on every rendered frame, like running effects, updating controls, and so on. Now we will receive the state from this hook and clock delta. So it will, we can use this to like get the data, different data of the model. So let's do this. Just copy this and inside the visa.jsx file, let's paste it right here. So this hook will render for every frame and keep updating the model. Now first, let's use the useRef to reference the model. Just write model ref. Let's attach this ref to this group and let's use it. Now we can use it by just writing model ref dot current dot position. We want to move the model to up and down a bit, so just write position dot y. Now before we pass the value right here, let me show you the log. Just write console.log and let's use state. So state dot clock, and let's save this. We have to import this first, so import it from the React 3 fiber. So if you see the log, you will have this different values. Now this individual values are for the each frames. So we are going to use the time value from here to like animate this model. So let's copy this and here let's use that value. So write maths.sign and pass state dot clock dot as time. Now here this expression, this sign, uses the time value as the angle for the sine function, and it will also see the time is going to increase all the time, right? So it will also increase the angle as well, and this will make the sign function cycle through its values from like -1 to 1. So it will like create similar to a wave pattern, and we will get different values between the -1 to 1. Since we want our model to move from up and down, so we don't want our model to go like on the upside and not only for the downside. So we want to move it from the -1 to 1. So let's save this. As you can see, the model is moving from -1 to 1. And here the model is on the top side, because now this use frame will change the position Y value. So let's pass this value inside right here. Let's save this. Now the model is moving in from the center to top and from top to bottom. So this movement is a bit much more bigger. So instead of that, let's decrease it. So for that, we can directly multiply it by different values such as 0.15. Let's save this. And this looks like a natural movements. That's it. Let me remove this log. So let me explain this again. Now the use frame hook, it will allow us to run the code on every frame of the animation. So this is useful for creating animations or updating objects in this scene. And then we are using the value from the state. So we are using the time value from the state.clock.elapsed time. So this will keep increasing, and because of this, the theta or the angle of the sine function will keep increase. So it will provide us the value from between to -1 to 1, and then we are decreasing its total value by multiplying it by 0.15, and then we want our model to be in the center. So that's why we are adding the -1.5 right here. So that's it. Now let's create the navigation button surrounding this model. Now inside the components folder, let's create one more folder called navigation. And inside this folder, let's create one file called index.jsx. Let's add the navigation component. And let's import this inside the page. So above the render model, you can directly add the navigation. Now we also have to make this as a client component, since we are going to use the animation. Now for this navigation, we will use this button list from the data.js. Now in this list, I have added data for this button. So each button will contain the label, link, icon, and new tab. Whether you want to open this navigation link in the new tab or not. So for the social links, we will enable the new tab, and for the internal links, we will keep it false. So let's use this button list inside the navigation. Let's remove this, and inside this div, let's import the button list from the data. Just write button list dot map. So this will give us the button and the index value, and here we will return the button component with button dot label. Let's add a few classes in this div. Let's keep display to flex, items to center, and justify to space between, and keep the position to relative. That's it. Let's use this index as a key. Okay, we have all this button right here. So let's calculate its position from the center. Now before we implement this navigation buttons, let me just show you how we can create a different position in a circular fashion for all these buttons. So let me open this, and now as you can see here, we have one circle divided into 8, since we have 8 buttons. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So each of this button are divided equally with the same angle. So we have to calculate this angle first, and for that we can do this. We can do 360, which is the total degree of the circle, divide by the total number of buttons. So we have 8 buttons, so this will give us the some x theta for the angle, some x angle. So first we will calculate this. So let's write const angle increment equal to 360 by the button list dot length. Now this will give us the angle between all these buttons. Now we have to convert this angle in a radian format. So for that we can use the formula to convert the radian, which is the pi theta divided by 180. So just write const angle radian equal to angle increment into math dot pi divided by 180. So this will give us the angle value in a radian format, and instead of this, let's multiply it by the index value, since we will need different values for each of these buttons. So this will create a different values in the radian. Now we will need the radius of the circle as well. So just write constant radius equal to, let's use the calc function, since we are going to use directly this inside the style of the button. So just write calc, and here we will use both the units, so the viewport width and the RAM as well. So for now, just write 20 viewport width minus 1 RAM. So it will adjust the radius position based on the screen size. Now let's calculate the x coordinate. So for that, write calc function, and inside this function we will multiply the radius. So to use the radius, we have to use the backticks instead of this single quotes. Let's grab the radius and multiply it by math dot cosine and pass angle radian. Now we are using the cosine to calculate the x coordinate, and for the y coordinate we will use the sine. So let me log these values. So we have angle in the radian, radius, and the x and y coordinates. Let's log the index as well. Let's save this. Now for the 0th index, we have a 0 radian for the angle, and this is the calculation of the radius, and then this is the calculation of the x coordinate, and this one is for the y coordinate. So let's implement this in the button. So inside this here, let's use this style. Now inside this style, we will use this x and y coordinate in the transform property. So just write transform And inside the backticks, let's add the translate, pass the X and Y coordinates. That's it. Also, let's make its position to absolute. Let's save this. Now, as you can see here, the buttons are on the left side of the screen. So let's fix all of them in the center. So for that, let's create one parent div, and inside this div, let's set its position to fixed, set the height to screen, and let's set display to flex, items to center, and justify to center as well. Let's save this. As you can see, now they move on the bit down. Let's set width to full, and here they are. Now let me explain all of this again. So first, we have divided the circle by the total length of the button list, and then we will get the how much angle we want to increment per button, and then we have converted that angle into the radian by multiplying the index value. So we will get different values for different buttons, and then we are using the calc function to calculate the radius. Now we are using this calc functions because we are going to use these values inside the style, so in this CSS. So that's why we are using the calc function. So this will calculate the radius, and we are using the both of these units, the viewport width and the RAM, because we want to dynamically adjust the button the radius based on the screen size. Then we are calculating the X coordinate by multiplying the radius and the math.cosine, and same for the Y coordinates. Now then we are using the transform translate, and we are setting up the position for these buttons. So now let's style this button. Let's create a separate component for that. Create a file under the navigation folder called nav button.jsx. Now from this nav button, we will get different values from the props, such as the X and Y coordinates, label, link, icon, new tab. That's it. Let's save this and use it. So instead of this button, let's use the new button. Here let's pass the X coordinate, Y coordinate, and let's pass all the rest of the button values. Now for the key, we are going to use the button dot label. Let me remove this. Let's save this and let's style this button. Now first, let's set the value to position to absolute and set the cursor to pointer. Set Z index to maximum, which is the 50, and let's set the style. So transform, make sure you use the backticks, translate X and the Y coordinates. Let's save this, and instead of this, add the label. It looks great. Now inside this div, let's add the button. Let's use the link instead of this button. Let me add the class names. So write text dash foreground, rounded to full, display flex, items center and justify to center as well. Now here we are going to use the icon instead of the label. So you can use the label in the link, just write area label to label, and in the href let's pass the link, and in the target if new tab is true, then we will use the blank, else we will use the self. So whenever new tab is true, it will open the link in the new tab, or it will open in the same page. Instead of area label, you can also use the name. Now inside this link we will render the icon. So let's use this span, and here we'll render the icon. Let's save this. Now these are the names of the icons. So now to render this icon, we will create one switch function. So just write const get icon equal to, which will have icon as argument, and let's use the switch statement. Let's use icon as a key, and let's say if the icon value is home, then we will return the home icon from the lucid-react. Let's add the class name width to full and edge to auto. Let's set the stroke width to 1.5, and that's it. Let's save this. Also for the default, we will pass this as well. Let's use this function and pass the icon. Let's pass the width in the span tag. So just write relative width to 14, height to 14, padding to 4. Let's save this. Alright, this looks great. Now let me open the Lucid icons. So there are multiple icons that you can use from right here. Right now we are using this home icon. So you just have to click on this copy JSX and paste it right here. So it will give you the JSX element of this icon. So that's it. Now let me write different cases for this. Let's copy this and paste it for 7 more times. So for the about, we will render the user icon. Make sure to import it from the Lucid React. For the projects, let's use the color palette icon. For the contact, let's use the phone. For the GitHub, let's use the GitHub. Now there is one more for the resume. We'll use notebook text icon. Let's save this. Let me close all these tabs, and this looks great. Now let's add the background and border as well. Now in this link, let's add background. So bg background, let's set its opacity to 20, set border to border accent color, and let's give its opacity to 30, set border dash solid, and let's add the backdrop filter, blur to 6 pixels, and let's save this. And this looks great, but we want to have a shadow inside the button, so let's create that shadow. Now we will use the Tailwind config file to create the custom background shadow. So after the colors, let's write box shadow, and let's name it as glass dash inset. Let's use the inset and pass the value for the 0, 17 pixel for the X, 5 for the Y, -9 for the spread, and we'll use RGBA. So these are the values that I have already calculated. You can pass different values if you want different colors. That's it, and let's create the same one with for the smaller shadow. So just write glass dash sm, and for that let's change the opacity to 0.3, and let's change this value as well. Remove the inset, change the first value to 5 pixel, then 5 for the X, and 20 for the Y, and 0 for the spread. Let's save this, and let's use this shadow. So the new buttons, just write shadow dash glass dash inset. So if you can see, there is a slight shadow at the top of each button and inside this this button. On hover, let's change the shadow as well. So on hover, we will use the glass dash sm shadow. And it looks great. Now let's see how we can move these icons in the circular manner. So for that, we will create the custom animation in the Tailwind config file. So first, let's add the custom animation. Let's name it as spin slow, and we will use the spin animation. So Tailwind already has a few animations that are implemented, so we can directly use it. Like we can use animate spin inside here. So in this div, just write animate spin. So this will spin all the icons, but we want it to be a bit slower, so that's why we are customizing these values. So just write spin, set the time to 40 seconds, linear and infinite. Let's use this class inside this parent div. So animate dash spin dash slow. And this looks great. Now only issue here is that these icons are also like rotating with the circle. So let's add the reverse animation for this icon. So it will stay there. So the circle will move on the right side, but the icon will move on the left side. So it will like cut out each other's effect. For that, let's create the spin reverse. And here we will implement spin reverse animation. So for this, we have to add the keyframe. So let's write keyframes. Let's use spin reverse as a name. For the 0%, we will transform it and use rotate to 0 degree. Now for the 100%, we will rotate it to minus 360 degree. Let's copy this and now paste it inside this span element. So just write animate dash spin slow reverse. Let's save this and check it out. That is not implemented. Let me see. Okay, I made a typo mistake. Let me reload this page. And now if you see, the icons are still, but the whole parent div is like spinning these icons. And this looks great. Now let's change the color of this icon on hover. So on hover, let's change the text to, let's change the text color to accent. Also it should be a group. So let's add the group class right here in the link. So whenever someone hovers on the link, it will change the text value, the icon color. So just write group dash hover to text dash accent. And it looks great. Now let's pause this animation whenever someone hovers on this. So for that we have to create one utility. So let's open the globals.css. Now inside this utilities, let's create .pause class and just write animation play state to paused. That's it. Now let's implement it. Let's use group dash hover and add the pause class. We have to add this pause class in the parent div as well, which is animating the all the icons. And this looks great. Now if you notice, this circle is not exactly at the center. So let me show you. So if we spin it for speed, it is not spinning at the center of the screen, and this should be because of the justify between. So just set justify to center, and now it is spinning at the center of the screen. So that's it. Now let's add the label for these buttons like this. For that we will use the another span tag. Let's add the label. Let's add class name. Set position to absolute. And let's keep it hidden unless someone hover on this icon. So for that we can use instead of group dash hover, we can use peer dash hover. So first we have to define who is the peer, then we can use directly peer dash hover. So whenever someone hovers on the icon, it should show this model. So let's save this. It should show this label. As you can see, it is showing the label, but it is not exactly at the right position. Let's add padding left and right to 2, padding top and bottom to 1, set left to full, margin left and right to 2, top to 1/2, and let's set it to the center. So for that, set minus translate dash y to 1/2 as well. Set back bg to background and text to foreground. Let's decrease the text size. So text dash sm, keep the rounded md. Let's show shadow up to LG and white space to no wrap. Let's save this and check it out. So labels are displaying, but the icons are animating, and it is not in sync with the whole animation. So let me reload this page. So if I hover on this icon, if you notice, the different icons are still animating. They are not paused when we hover on this, and it can be because we want to pause all the animation whenever someone hovers on any of this icon, right? So we also have to pause the animation for this icon as well. So right now the group is class is here, so this is considering the this link as a group. So instead of this, let's use this group class right here, and let's see. So when I hover on this, it will pause the animation for the different icons as well. So let me remove this so it will not change the text color. Now let's move this label inside this span so that it will also rotate with the icon as well. So inside this span, let's add it here. Now we are using this peer, but now it is a parent. So instead of this, let's add one more span. And let's add the peer class right here. Now it should be transparent. So bg dash transparent. Set it to absolute, top to 0, left to 0, width to full, height to full. That's it. Let's save this. Now it looks great. So if I summarize this animation, first we have calculated different positions for this icon. Then we have added the rotation animation in the parent of this icons. And then we have added the reverse rotation for this icon so that they stay still and do not rotate themselves. And after that, on hover, we have paused the main rotation of the parent div. And along with that, we have also paused the animation for this icons. So that's it for this home page. Now let's create the background effect like this one. Let's create this fireflies in the background. So inside this components folder, let's create one file called fireflies background. Now let's import this fireflies background inside the main layout, since we are going to have this effect for each page. Make sure to import this. Now here let's give class name to this div. Let's keep it fixed. Top to 0, left to 0, width to full, edge to full. Keep the z index to -10 and overflow to hidden. That's it. Now inside this div, let's add the different fireflies. So for that, let me create one function that randomly creates the firefly. So just write constant create firefly. Now this will return us an object of firefly. So this object will have one ID. So for that, we will use math.random. Then let's calculate the position of this firefly. So just write math.random up to 100. So this will generate the values up to 100. And let's add it in the backticks, so it will act as a string since we want to add it as a percentage values. So let's copy this, let's use it for the left position, and let's calculate the animation duration, since the animation duration will change for each of these fireflies. So we will again use the math.random, and let's multiply it by 5, and let's add plus 5. At the end, let's add the second. Now this means that the firefly will animate between 5 to 10 seconds. Now let's use the one state. So whenever we use any state or use effect, we have to make this as a client component. Let's import the use state. Let's give it a name as fireflies. Initially it should be an empty array. Let's use the use effect. Now let's create a function to add the new firefly at an regular interval. So just write constant add firefly periodically. Just write constant new firefly equal to create firefly function, and then we will set the state with the new firefly. Let's use the const interval equal to set interval function, and here we will keep running this add firefly periodically function for every second. And let's clear this interval as well. Let's save this and see if it's working or not. But before that, let's use this state. So firefly.map, which will give us the firefly value. Let's return one div. So this div will be empty, but let's add the key first. It should be firefly.id, and in the class name, let's add position to absolute and set the rounded to full, background to accent, width to, let's add 10 pixels, and height to 10 pixels as well. Now we have to set this as an array, so let's save this. Let's increase the width and height for now. Along with that, we also have to set the position as well, since we are calculating it using this function. So we have top, left, and animation duration. So inside the style, just write firefly.top. Same for the left, and for the animation. Now we have to create the one more keyframe, since we are going to animate these fireflies. So for that, we will create that keyframe inside the global CSS. Now, why we are not using the Tailwind config? Because we are not adding the animation inside using the class, but instead we are using the style. So that's why we have to implement the keyframe in the globals.css file. So let's add keyframes called move, and for the 0% we will use transform and translate to 0 0, and for the 100% we will translate it up to 100 pixels. Let's save this and use it. Use backticks, add the name of the keyframe, and let's add the animation duration. So write firefly dot animation duration, keep infinite and alternate. Let's save this. So here it is. Now this is a bit bigger and we are not seeing anymore because we are setting this state. So this will eventually remove the current state and always add only single fireflies. So instead, let's save the old state as well. So for that, let me remove this. Let's get the current fireflies from the old values, and then we will set one array. Use spread operator to use the old state value and then add the new firefly. Let's save this. Now this is creating each firefly very slowly. Okay, so this is 10 seconds. Let me change it to 1. Here we have second one. Here we have a third one. And here is the fourth one. Now we also want to we also have to remove the few fireflies since it will fill up the whole background. So for that, let's use the dot slice function and just write -14. So what this will do, so this will ensure that the array stays within the 10 to 15 elements by removing the oldest if necessary. So this will keep the firefly count to up to 15 elements. So let's save this. And now let's add the custom gradient for instead of the squares. So for that we have to create one using the Tailwind config file. Now after this colors, let's add background image, and inside this image let's name it as firefly radial, since we are going to use the radial gradient. Let's use radial dash gradient. Keep the position to 50% at 50%. Two 253, 255, 80 and 0.5. So this will run for up to 0%. And next color is our accent color, which is 217, 217 and 217 with the 0 opacity up to 100%. Now let's use this. So inside this div, let's add the bg dash firefly radial. Let's remove this and save it. I think there is some mistake. Let me check. Okay, we have background image. Let's check the value again. It should be a comma. Okay, now we have lots of fireflies right here. Let's change its size to 10, and this looks great. Now that's it. The home page is completed. Now let's create the projects page. Now inside this app, let's create one folder called projects, and in that folder let's create page.js file. Let's copy this page and paste it right here. Let me remove this. And for the BG, we will use the project's background. Let's save this and click on the projects. So here's the projects page. Now let's import the projects data. And now to render the project, we will create the project list component. So inside the components folder, let's create projects folder, and inside that let's add index.jsx file. Let's name it as project list. Now in this component, we will get the project's data from the page.js file. Let's use this. So import the project's data from /data. Let's save this. Now inside the data for the projects, we have ID, name of the project, description of the project, date, and the demo link. Now let's implement it. Now for each project, we will render one project element. So for that, let's create a separate component called project layout.jsx file. So this layout will have name, description, date, and the demo link. So for now, just render the name, and inside this map we will get the project and index. Then we will return project layout component by passing the project data, and add index as the key. Let's save this. Now we have list of projects right here. Let's add the styles. So inside this div, let's add flex items to center, justify between, width to full, set position to relative, rounded up to large, and overflow hidden. Let's set padding to 6, and that's it. Let's save this, and looks great. Now instead of this name, let's add one div, add a class name to flex items to center, justify to center, and space x to 2. So this will add space between two elements. For the h2, we'll use name, and for the class name, set the text color to text foreground. After the name, let's add the description. Now for the description, we will use the text dash muted color, and that's it. So after this div, let's add one more paragraph, and here we will display the date. So in the new date, add the date value and make it to date string. Let's add the class name, set text to foreground. Let's save this, and it looks great. Now let's add dots in between these spaces. So for that, we can create a one div. Let's make it a self-closing div, and add the class names. Set flex -1, margin left and right to 2, margin bottom to 1, background to transparent, border to border dash bottom, border dash dashed, and border to muted. Let's remove this extra border, and looks great. Let's add self dash n, and now it looks better. Now for the background and the border of this project, we are going to use the same classes that we have used in the new buttons. So let's copy it. So copy from right here to here. Let's paste it here, and this looks great. Now we are going to use the same classes on multiple elements. So instead of copy pasting this, let's create a separate utility for it. So go to the globals.css file, and inside this utility, let's add the custom background. So just write one more class called custom-bg, and in here we'll use the apply keyword and then paste all the class names. That's it. Let's save it and use this class. And for the buttons, instead of this, let's use this single class. Let's save this, and it looks great. As you can see, buttons already have that style applied. Now let's add space between these elements. So go to the project list, and in that div, let's add few classes with set to full, and let's set max width to up to 4 XL, and padding left and right to 4. Let's set it to 16. Space Y to 6. So this will add space between each elements. Let's keep it to 8. Set display flex direction to column, items to center. Let's save this, and it looks great. Now on the left side, let's render the staff model. So let's go to the page.js. Let's go to the main page and copy this and paste it after the project list. Now instead of wizard, we have to create the separate component for the staff as well. So let's open the gltf JSX website, and here we will add the staff model. So you can directly drag this and paste it right here. Let's copy this file, go to the models and add one file called staff.jsx. Let's paste it here. Make sure to change the path to /model, or it should be models. Let's change its name to staff and add the default keyword. Now let's import this in the projects page instead of wizard and save this. Let's wrap this inside a div. For this div, let's add the class name, set display to flex, set display to flex, items to center, justify to center as well, set position to fixed. Then let's set the top to 20 and left to 0 and set height to screen. Let's save this. And here is the staff. Now let's increase its scale. So go to the staff model and the group. Let's add scale. Let's multiply it by 3. It looks better. Now let's add the position as well. Set 0, -2 for the y-axis and 0 for the z. And now it looks much better. Now let's rotate this staff. So for that, again, we are going to use the use frame hook. Make sure you import it. And in this hook, we will use the use ref. So for that, let's create one more model ref. Use ref. And let's pass this ref in the group. Let's use model ref dot current dot rotation dot y-axis to plus or equal to, let's say 0.2. Let's save this. And it is rotating a bit faster. Let's use 0.007. And now it looks much better. Now if you see for each page, like for the contact page, we have home button right here, and even for the projects page we have home at the top left. So let's create a separate layout for all these sub pages. And for that, first let's create one group called Subpages and move the projects to this Subpages group. And we have to change the imports as well. That's it. Now in this Subpages group, we will create one Layout.js file. Now whenever you create any pages inside this Subpages group, it will have effect of this Layout.js, but it will not have any effect outside of this Subpages folder. And this group also will not create a separate URL like Subpages like this, because it is using the parentheses. And this is how you can group like multiple different type of pages and have them applied this same layout file. Let's go to this layout, copy everything, paste it here, and let's remove all those things. Let's name it as Subpages layout. It should not be root layout, since there is only one root layout right here. So we are using this for every elements. So let's use it. Now inside this main, we will pass the child components. And then we will have the home button right here. And also we have to set the margin and padding as well. So let's set it. Keep the justify to center, padding top and bottom to 20, and padding left and right to 16. Let's save this, and this looks great. And let's remove this relative class. Let's save this, go to the projects, and let's remove this. And now it looks much better. Now let's fix this background. So open the About Us projects page, and here let's use the fix class. Let's remove this fill, and this fix the background, but it should be top 0 left to 0, and now it looks much better. Now let's design this home button. So let's create a separate component for that. It should be home button.jsx. It should be the same as the new button. So let's copy that. Copy this link and paste it right here. Instead of this label, it should be home. Let's import the link from the next/link and go to the layout. Instead of this, let's import the home button. Let's change this to slash. Also, let's use the self instead of blank. And instead of this, let's get the home icon from the Lucid React. For the class name, set width to full, edge to auto, and stroke width to 1.5. And here is the button. Let's remove the animation classes. Now let's set it on the left side of the screen. So set display to fix, top to 4 and left to 4 as well. Set width to fit, self to start, and it looks great. Let's move this stuff on the left side, like after this home button. So go to the projects page, and for this stuff, let's instead of left-0, let's use -left-16. Let's add more values. Let's use 24, and now it looks much better. Let's use cursor pointer for the project layout. Now also instead of this div, let's use the link. For the href, pass the demo link. Now for the target, let's use the blank. And that's it. So the project's page is completed. Now let's create the about us page. Let's open the Subpages directory. Let's copy this projects folder and paste it again inside this Subpages. Let's change its name to about. Now here, let's change the background value to /about background. Let's save this. Open the about page. So background is different here. Let's remove the project list. Let's save it. Now let's create the file for the head model. So go to the GLTF website and let's import the head. So here is the head. Let's copy all this. Go to the models and create one file called head model.jsx. Let's add default keyword and use head model. Also use models for the path. That's it, and let's import it. Make sure to add use client. Go to the about, and instead of staff, let's use head model. So instead of staff, we have head. Let's make it at the center of the screen. So for now, let's remove all this. Set width to full, edge to screen, set position to absolute, top 1/2, so 50% from the top, and let's make it at the center. So for that, use -translate -y -1/2 and set left to 0. Let's save this. Looks great. Now let's animate it. So let me close all this, open the stuff. Let's copy this and open the head model and paste it right here. Make sure to import the use ref and the use frame as well. Let's add ref here. Let's save this. And this looks great. Now here, let's increase the scale. So add scale. Let's set it to 1.8, 1.8 and 1.8. Looks great. Now let's change its x-axis a bit so that we don't want to see the bottom of this head. So for that, let's go to the, let's write the position 0.4 for the x and -1 for the y and 0 for the z. Now actually we should rotate this head and not set its position, so it should be a rotation, and now it looks much better. So position should be 0, 0, 0. That's it. Now let's add the name at the bottom of this head. let's open the about page, and after this div, let's add one more div. Here we will have h1 tag and write your name. After the h1, let's add one paragraph and just write meet the wizard behind this portfolio. You can add any quotes or something you like here. So in the div, let's add class name, set absolute, display to flex, flex direction to column, items to center. Now text to center as well, and top 60% from the top, and center from the left. So right left dash 1/2 minus translate x to 1/2 as well. That's it. Let's save this. Also let's wrap this inside one more div. So for this div, we will set the position to relative, width to full, height to screen, flex, call, items to center, and justify to center as well. Let's save this. And here is the name and the paragraph. Let's increase the size. So keep the font weight to bold, text up to 9XL, and text color to text-accent. For the paragraph, let's set font weight to font light, text to foreground, and size to text-LG. And it looks great. Now let's move this a bit upward. So we can use minus translate y to 1/2, and now it looks much better. Now after this, let's add the different informations. Let's see right here. We have about details and a few more details. For that, let's create one component. So go to the components folder, create one folder called about, and here let's add one file called index.jsx. Let's name it as about details, and let's import it in the about page. Let's first change this div to a section. Add the class name, padding top and bottom to 20, width to full. Now here, let's add one more div. Now this div will have a grid. So write grid calls to 12 and set gap to let's set it to 8 and width to full. So for these elements, we will use the grid. Let's use one div, and here we will add the info. Let's add class name, set the custom -bg, so it will have the same border, color, and shadow as the navigation buttons. Set padding to 8 and rounded to XL. Set display to flex, items to center, and justify to center as well. Now for this first item, we will use the call -span -8. So this is the info. And let's also set row -span -2. Now after this div, let's add 2 more. So this will use the call span 4 and 4. Let's remove these classes, and here we will write 25 plus clients, and here let's add 4 plus years of experience. Let's save this, and it looks great. Now if you notice, all this information has the same layout. So instead of like implementing all this for each and every item, let's create a separate component. So let's create const item layout. Now this will have the children and the class name. So let's return one div. Let's copy this and paste it right here. Remove the call and row span. Instead of info, we will use the children. And along with that, we will also append the class name using CLSX utility. So let's copy this and paste it right here. Let's do the same for other two. And it looks great. Now let's add the info first. So for this info, we will use the h2, and let's write architect of enchantment. Now I'm using this type of text because it suits more with this theme of this portfolio. So after the row span 2, let's add flex to column and items to start. After the h2, let's add paragraph tag. Let's copy the text from here. Let's add the text size to text dash to Excel, text to left, and width to full, and capitalize it. For the paragraph, set font to light. That's it. Let's add the space between the elements. For that, you can directly add space y to 8. All right, looks great. Now let's design this. Let's use paragraph tag. Let's set font to semi-bold, width to full, text to center, text to left, and text size to 5XL. Let's change this clients inside a subtext. Add class name of font semi-bold and text dot dash base. So it will have the base size, which is 1 rem. Let's copy this and paste it right here. this should be 4, and instead of clans we'll write years of experience. Looks great. Now let's also change the text color. Let's change to text-accent. Let's add more padding left and right in this Subpages layout. It should be 32. Now it looks much better. Now let's see how we can get the get your GitHub data and display right here. So for that we are going to use one website. So if you open the data.js file, here are all the websites that I have listed. Now we are going to use this github.com/Anurag Hazare and GitHub readme states. So let's copy this and paste it right here. So what it does, it returns the dynamically generated GitHub states. This is eventually is for the readme files that is on your GitHub profile, but we'll use it on our portfolio. Now it has like lots of features such as different themes for this type of states. Like it has different type of cards such as this one, the most used languages, or the repo. So let's use it. Let's copy this link first and paste it right here. So as you can see, it will generate this beautiful card with all the GitHub information. So if I change it to my username, it should show my GitHub profile states. So let's copy this link and use it. So open the about page, about details page, and inside the item layout, let's use the image for inside this src. Let's paste this link, and for the alt, let's add code bugs. Let's use the lazy loading. Now we are not going to use the image component of the Next.js because this data is dynamically generated and provided into the like image format. Let's add the goal span to 6. Let's save this. And we are getting this image. Now we don't want to have any padding, so let's just add p-0, and looks great. Now let's change its theme. So like there are tons of configuration that you can do. So there are like multiple themes such as dark, radical, Mirko. So let's use the dark. For that you just have to add it as a parameter. So just write n use theme equal to dark. As you can see, it is the dark theme. Let's change to radical, and it is a different theme. So let's use a few of this configurations. So for the background color, we will actually hide the border first. So just write n height border equal to true. Then let's use a theme to make it a transparent. We don't want any of the color. So this is transparent. Let's change the text color. So first change the title color. We will keep this color as our accent color. So if you go to the global.css, this is the hex format of this accent color. So just paste it here and remove this hash. Let's save this. And it is using this color. Now for the text underscore color, we'll use the different one. We'll use let's use the same one first. Okay, and now this is a bit bold. So instead, let's use the white. Now we can also change the icon color as well. So just write icon underscore color is equal to same as this accent color. Let's save this. And this looks much better. Now this is the bold text, so there should be one configuration. As you can see, text bold, we can make it false. So just add ampersand text bold equal to false. And it looks much better now. Let's increase its column size to 8. And now let's use this one, most used languages. So copy this and paste it before this one. And let's change this URL. So let's find the one for the most used languages. So after the API, just use this, copy this and paste it right here. Let's change its column span to 6. Let's change it to 4. And looks great. Now let's add the skills icon. Now for this, we are going to use skill icons. So open the data.js file, and here's the skills icons.dev. We can use there's multiple different icons. So if you read the documentation, we just have to copy this link. Let's copy this, paste it right here. Make it call span to full. Let's copy this and change the src from this to skills.dev. Let's change the padding as well. And it looks great. Now let's add multiple icons. So you will have a list of icons right here, and here is the icon ID that you can use. So I have already a few icons that I want to use. So let me copy and paste that. Let's save this. And this looks great. Now let's add this state. Now for this is from the different provider. So if you go to the data.js file, copy this, and let's open this. So here you can add your GitHub username and maybe theme. Let's keep it to default. Hide border to true. That's it. You can also use PNG. Let's open the advanced options and add property background. Click on this plus icon. Let's decrease the opacity so it will have a transparent background. Let's change the theme to dark. Looks great. Now let's add the ring property as well. For this we will use this color. Alright, now after this ring, let's add a current streak label. Click on plus icon and add the color. Now this looks better. So now you just have to copy this HTML or just copy this link. Copy this and paste it here. Let's change to call span up to 6. This looks great. Let's remove the padding. Now this exclamation mark, that means this will add the important keyword after this value. We can also remove this as well. Let's change the alt and the loading. And add this class names. Now it looks much better. Now let's add this repo card. So copy this, paste it right here. Now let's search for the GitHub repo. And here is the URL. So let's copy this and paste it right here. Instead of the skills icon, we should copy this, use this URL. Right here. Let's change the username and let me add the one repo name instead of this. Let's save this. Let's change its call span to 6. That's it. Now we can also have a different configuration for this. So here is the description lines count. Let's add description line count to 2. And now it will show the only the first 2 lines of the repo description. So that's it. Now that's it for the about page. Now before you use all of this GitHub states directly from the link provided by this repo, there is also a documentation for which you can host it by yourself. So if you go to this deploy on your own, now this will show you all the required steps that you can follow to host your GitHub API on your own. Because as mentioned here, the GitHub API only allows 5k requests per hour. And as mentioned, this URL could possibly hit the rate limiter. So if you host it on your own virtual server, then you do not have to worry about anything. So click on the deploy button to get started. So that's it. You just have to click on deploy and follow the steps, and you can host it, host the API on your own, and then you can use that API endpoint instead of using this one. So it is better to use your own, because this might hit the rate limiter and it will not show anything on your portfolio. So that's it for the about page. Now let's move on to the contact page. I'm not able to click on the home button, so let's go to the home button component and add the Z index to maximum, which is 50, and that's it. Now let's create the contact page. Let's go to the Subpages. Let's copy this about and paste it again, change its name to contact, and here we want to be displaying any 3D model. Let's remove this and this as well. Change the about to contact-background.png. Let's change this as well. And let's click on the contact. That's it. Now let's add the title first. Let's use the article element. Let's add class name, set position to relative, width to full, display flex, flex direction to column, items to center, justify to center as well, space y should be 8. Now inside this article, let's add one div. Let's add flex column, items center, justify center as well, and space y should be 6. Set width to full. Let's set it to 3x4 for the bigger screens. Let's add h1. Just write summon the wizard. Let's add class name. Text color should be text-accent. Font to semi-bold, text to center, and text size to 4 pixel. Change the text to capitalize. Let's save this. All right, now let's go to the contact page from here and copy this text. So after the h1, let's add one paragraph and paste the text here. Now inside this paragraph, let's add text dash center and font dash light. I think the inter font is not applied, so let's open the root layout. Let's add font dash enter. That's it. And now it looks much better. So after this, let's add the contact form, which have name, email, message, and the submit button. For that, we are going to use the React hook form. So open this website, and for that, let's create a separate component. So inside the components, create folder called contact. Inside the contact, let's create one file called form.jsx, and let's import this form after this in this article after this div. That's it. Now let's go to this React hook website, go to the tools and click on the form builder. Now here we can build our own form. For now, let's delete this. We want email, but not the phone number, not the title, not the developer. Let's change it to name. That's it. and let's change its type to an email. Let's add one more for the message. It will be a text area. The maximum numbers should be at least 50. Not the maximum, sorry. Maximum should be at least, I don't know, like Twitter, it should be 256 character, and for the minimum you can have at least 50, and it is required. So let's create. So we have 3 fields, and you can directly copy everything from here. So just click on copy. Now we are using this React hook form because it is like performant, flexible, and it is like a super lightweight. Plus it minimizes the number of re-renders. So whenever you type anything in the input, and it provides out of the box validations and error messages, etc. So let's copy this and use it inside this form. Just change it to form. That's it. Let's save this and check it out. But make sure to use the use client directive here, since we are using the hooks. So here we have one form. Let's check it. If I type anything here and click on the submit, so it will give us the all the values. Let's style this form. First, let's add the class name inside this form. Change max width to MD. Set width to full. Flags dash column. Items to center, and justify to center as well. Let's set specify to 4. Now for this input, let's add the class name. Set width to full, padding to 2, rounded MD, shadow LG, text to foreground, and focus outline none, and focus ring to 2. And let's change the ring color. For the focus, ring color should be accent/50 for the opacity. Also, let's add custom -bg to apply all those different class names. Looks great. Let's copy these classes and paste it here as well, and here as well. Let's add placeholder. Let's say it's the message. Now let's add styles for this button. Add padding left and right to 10, padding top and bottom to 4, rounded MD, shadow LG, BG dash background, border to accent for 30% opacity, border dash solid. Now on hover, let's change the shadow to shadow glass SM, and backdrop blur to SM, text to foreground, and focus should be outline none. So let's copy this as well. Set cursor to pointer and capitalize. Also, instead of submit, let's change the value of this input it should be cast your message. All right, looks great. Now that's it. Now let's see how we can use the email.js to get all this data from this form to our own email. So let me open the email.js. So by using this API, we can directly get the data from that form to our email. Let's go to the docs and open the React. So as you can see in this example, we only have to add like API key, service ID key, and the email template that we are going to use. That's it. And we just have to pass the form element or the data from the form, and it will send us the email. So let's use this. Now let me create an account with the dummy email. So here's the verify email. And it is verified. Let me close this disposable browser as well. And we are logged in. Now here you have to add your email service. So you just have to go to the add new service and click on the Gmail. So this will generate one service ID. So make sure you save this. Go to the right here. And let's rename this env example to env.local, and in the service ID let's paste the ID. Click on the connect account. So here you have to sign in to your email and click continue. That's it, and click create service. I guess I have to allow it to the send email. So let me reconnect. And now it should work. Now, as you can see here in my email, for the testing purpose, they have already sent one email right here. So let's go to the email templates and create one template. Now in this template, as you can see, there are different variables. So to name, from, name, message. So this will all variables will be populated from the forms data. So let's edit this. Click on the edit content and click design editor. So you got a message from this name and email. Let me format this from add name and email. So just to underscore reply and keep the message as it is. You can also like make it bold, and you can create the whole good looking template, but for this tutorial let's keep it simple. Let's apply changes. It should be reply to. All right, now let's use all these variables, but first let's go to here. Now there are three type of REST API that we can use: send, send form, and history. So we are going to use the send, but first let's go to the personal settings and go to the account, copy this API key, the public API key, and paste it right here. Now let's get the email template ID that we have recently created. So go to the email templates and click on this, go to the settings, copy this ID and paste it right here. That's it. Now let's use this. So go to the React copy this send email function. Let's open the form, and before the on submit, let's paste this function right here. Now because of the React hook form, we are getting the all the values and not the whole form. So instead of this form.current and send form, we are only going to use the send. So if you see the /send REST API, so it will accept the service ID, template ID, user ID, and different type of informations. Let's use the env variables. So this is the service ID, so it will use the process.env.next. Let's copy the env variables. Next public service ID. Make sure you add the next public, otherwise it will not be able to access this in the browser. Now the template ID, so just write process.env.template ID, and let's pass the public key. Now let's remove this. Now this has a different set of arguments, so let's check it out. Go to the email.js.send. So it accepts service ID, template params, and options. So let's go to the options. So it has different options like public key, block list, limit rate, etc. So let's use these parameters. So we already have the public key. Let's use the limit rate. So what it does, this option will allow the SDK to process the request no more often than the specified in the throttle. So let me explain that to you. First, let's use the throttle and keep it to 5000. So that means you cannot send more than one email per 5 seconds using this API. So if you write 10,000, that means it is in the milliseconds. That means you cannot send more than one email per 10,000 seconds. So it should be actually more instead of that just 5,000 or 10,000, so that one person cannot will not misuse this. So that's it. Now instead of this event, let's pass the params, and let's pass this params right here. Now that's it. Let's use this send email function inside this on submit function, but we will not pass directly this data. Instead we will create the template param as per the variables that are defined in the email template. So just write template params equal to. Now if you open the email template, there is a to name, so just write to underscore name. Let's write code bugs. Now then we have from name, from underscore name. It should be from the data dot name. Then we have reply to, which will store the email. After that we have the message. So that's it. Let's pass this templates in the send email function, and let's check this out. Test name, test@email.com, and hey there. Let's click on the button, and as mentioned, email.js is not defined, so let's define that. Make sure you import the email.js. So let's import email.js from at email.js/browser. Let's save this and click on the submit button again. So as mentioned here, success. So we received one email. So here's the email. Hello Codebugs, you got a new email from, there is no name. I guess there is an issue with that. So we have, oh, that is typo. Let's do this again. Name 2. And we have success. So we got the name, got the email ID and the message as well. That's it. So this is really handy to use the email.js. And if you see the pricing for the free version, you get the like 200 monthly requests, and I guess that's more than enough for your personal use, but you can also apply for this plans. Now let's see if we are getting the validation messages or not. So we are getting the error as the message is empty. So let's see how we can show the error message using the React hook form. If you go to the API and go to the use form, let's go to the register. Now here you can use multiple options for the validation, and along with that you can also add your own custom error messages. Let's go to the set error, and as mentioned here we can have our custom message. So let's see how we can use this. So let's apply this for the name. So required is true. Instead of true, we can directly set the error message. So like this field is required, and along with this required, we can also set the minimum length. Let's set its value to 3 and set the message. If there is a value which is less than 3, then it will say that the name should be at least 3 characters long. Let's save this and test it out. Let's click on the submit, and we have error. As mentioned here, this field is required, and if we add just one letter and just click submit, it will say that the name should be at least 3 characters long. Let's see how we can display this error message. So first, let's get the errors dot name. If there is any error, then we will display it inside the span element. So just write errors dot name dot message. Let's add some style, use inline block, self start, text accent. That's it. And here is the error message. So let's use this for after the every input and the text area as well. Now for this, let's paste it here. Now instead of this, let's use value, put the 256, and for the message, let's just write message should be less than 500 characters. Let's add 500 because 256 is really low. Let's keep minimum to 50. Message should be more than 50 characters. That's it. Let's see. It should be minimum length and maximum length. And right here. So these are all the error messages. Now let's show the toast message. That will first show the loading state, and then if it is a success, then it will show the success message, else it will show the errors. For now, let me remove this log. Now for to show this kind of notification, we will use the sooner toast component. So as you can see, it is displayed right here. It has like lots of configuration that you can do, such as like positions. You can expand all the notifications or keep it as a default. And also it has different type of colors like error info. You can make it headless. That means you can customize it by yourself. So that's it. I've already installed this library in the starter code repo, so we just have to directly use it. First, let's add the toaster in the form. Make sure it is outside of the form. Let's use the React fragments and paste it. Now, for now, let's comment this out. We don't want to send that much emails. So here, first we will define the toast ID, and in the ID, we will directly use the toast.loading with the message, like sending your message, please wait. Let's see if it's working or not. Let's add name at b.com, some messages. As you can see, it is displayed right here, and it says the sending your message, please wait. Now let's go to its documentation. Let me close all this. Now here, we can have a error message. Also, you can also add an action with the button on the notification as well. So we have we can define the class name, description, duration, and also different icon as well. So for now, let's keep the toast.loading as it is, and let's use this. Now on success, we will display the success message. But before that, if you want to show the colorful toast, then we have to like enable it. So if you go to here, check out this all the different API references. So this rich colors is a false, so we have to enable that. So for that, you can just copy this, go to the toaster and make it true. That's it. Now we'll be able to see this green color for the success and red color for the error messages. So let's go to here, and instead of this log, just write toast.success, and in the success, let's add a message such as I have received your message, I will get back to you soon. So that's it. And let's use this same one for the error. Instead of success, just write error, and just write there was an error sending your message, please try again later. All right, let's see this in action. Let me click on, and as you can see, first is the loading, then we receive the email. So that's why it is saying that I have received your message and I will get back to you soon. Now only problem with this, that it will keep using this loading state as it is, and it will not fade away. So we are going to use this toast ID. So it will replace this loading state and show the success or error state. So for that, you just have to pass one options object and use ID equal to toast ID. Let's do the same for the error as well. Let's save this and let's reload this page. Let's pass any text name, email, and some message. Let's click. As you can see, first is the loading state, then we have the success state, and that's it. Now it will go away within a few seconds, and you can also define that timer by checking out these different options. So that's it for the contact page, and I think we have everything is implemented. And next we'll make this mobile responsive. Let's go to the home page. Let's change the width. So if you see, the buttons are like going in, and that means the radius is very low for the smaller screen devices. So let's see what we can do to make this responsive. Now we won't be able to use the use media query right here, because it will give us the hydration error, and it will say that the content that is displayed in the client side will not is not as the same as rendered in the server side. So instead, let's make it our own responsive component that we can use. So for that, first we will create one hook inside the components folder. Create one folder called hooks, and here let's create one file called use screen size.jsx. Now this is this will work on the client side, so make sure you use the use client side hook. Use client directive, right cons, use screen size. So this will return us the screen size, current screen size of the device, and let's export it. All right, so let's first use the use state. Let's name it as screen size. Let's add one use effect. Now here we will create two functions. So first function is to get the screen size. So it will return the window dot inner width, and the next function is to handle resize. So this will set the screen size based on this function's return value, and we will call this handle resize function for the resize event, and initially for the first time. So just write window dot add event listener. Let's add the event resize, and then we will call the handle resize function. Also, let's remove the event listener. Let's save this. Now let's see how we can use this hook and create our own responsive component. So for that, you can go to the components folder and create one more component called responsive component .jsx. So this will be a use client. Now here it will take the children, and let's use the use size hook. So size equal to use screen size. That's it. And here let's use the React fragments. So children, and inside the children let's pass the size. So that's it. Let's see how we can use this component. Now before that, let's try to increase the radius for the navigation buttons. So go to this navigation component and let's use the use screen size hook. Use screen size. First, let me show the value of the size in the log. So if I change the width, it will give us the width value. Now we will define two constants of one to check whether it is large or not. So is large equal to size is greater than or equal to 1024, and const if is medium, that means size is greater than or equal to 768. So based on that, we will change the radius. So here first we will check that is large is true, then we will display then we will use this value for the radius, as if it is medium, then we will change this value to, let's say, 30 viewport width, else we will keep it to 40. All right, let's save this and check this out. Now, as you can see, if I move across the 2024, it should increase the radius. And if we move less than 768, then it should increase the radius more. And that's it. Now let's see how we should handle it for the mobile version. Since if you check out this live version of the portfolio, then you will see after the 480 pixels, I have set this navigation buttons on the sides of the screen. So let's implement that. Now for that, we are going to use the responsive component that we have created recently. So this will give us the size. So let's use that. Open the brackets. First we have to deconstruct the size from the arguments. So if return size and size is greater than or equal to 480, then we will display the current component, else we will display, for now let me write responsive navigation. Let's save this. As you can see, if I go less than the 480 pixel, it will say the responsive navigation. So let's design that. Just copy this div and paste it right here. Now, if you go to the Tailwind CSS responsive design, it has mentioned all these breakpoints, but there is no breakpoint for the 480 pixels. So let's add it in the Tailwind config file. So if you go down after the animation, let's add screens and just write access, and let's add 480 pixels. Let's save this. Now here, as you can see right here, we will divide the buttons into two and display them on the sides of the screen. So for the screens less than 480 pixel, now let's copy this, create a React fragments and paste it for 2 more times. Now instead of button list, let's slice it, use dot slice and 0 to button list by 2. So divide by 2, and we will use the same for this one. So it will slice the button length /2 to btn list dot length. Let's save this and see. It will still rotate because all this are enabled. So let me remove this, and we also have to implement this responsive component in the navigation button. So let's open the nav button and use the responsive component here as well. Copy this div, use responsive component. First, let's get the size and return size, and size is greater than or equal to 480. Then we will display as it is, else we will modify this. So let's modify it. Let's remove the absolute and save it. Now as you can see, it has the different positions. We also have to remove the style as well from the nav buttons. Let's remove the style. Now as you can see, all the buttons are in the horizontal. Let's remove all the animations. Remove the animation from here as well. That's it. Now here, let's define width to full, and it will be width max for the access. Also, let's add padding left and right to 2.5, and up to access there is no padding because it is already absolute. Now let's change the flex direction to flex dash column. The items should be items dash start. Up to access, it is okay to have items center. I think it should be btn list dot length, same as here as well. And let's see if that's working. All right. Let's add the space y to 4. Let's use this same class in here as well. And instead of items start, it should be items end. Let's go to the new buttons. Let's keep the width to fit. Now this icons should have items end. Let's all right, here is the typo and it looks great. Now let's decrease the size of this new button. Let's keep width to 14 up to excess, and after that let's decrease it to width -10 h-10, and let's decrease the padding as well. So up to excess it is okay to have p-4, then set p-2.5, and now it looks better. Now let's remove the extra code from here. Just add 0, 0. That's it. Now here the label is from the right side, and here the label is also on the right side, but we want on the left side. So let's add one more props for the new button. So if you go to the new button, let's add label direction. It should be on the right side by default, and let's use this. So go to the label, and here let's use the CLSX utility, CLSX, paste the class name, and if label direction is equal to left, then we will add right dash full and left to auto, else an empty class name. So not for this first one, but for this second one, let's add the label direction to the left. Let's save this, and it looks great. Alright, so the home page is responsive. Now let's go to the about page. Now here we have to decrease the size of this head. So let's open the app and go to the about page. Here the height is 100 VH. So let's keep it as it is up to the SM. So that means it will stay the full 100 VH height up to the 640 pixel. But after that, let's decrease it to the 3x4. Let's see. So if I go less than the 640, it will decrease the height and the size of this head. And let's keep this up to excess, so up to 480 pixel, and then let's use 3x5. And now it looks much better. Let's decrease the size of this text. Let's keep text 9XL up to large, and the smallest is going to be the text as -6XL, and up to excess use text -7XL, up to SM use text -8XL. Let's see. and it looks better. Let's decrease this gap. So right now the top is 60%. So let's keep it as it is up to the SM, and then use top dash 50%. And it looks better now. Now for this, we just have to change the columns. So go to the about details, and let's change the call span. So let's keep it call span 8 up to LG. Then change the call dash span dash full. Also let's decrease the gap up to MD, keep gap to 8, and up to XS keep gap to 6, else set the gap to 4. For the H2, let's keep text to XL up to MD and write to text dash XL. Now for this, the smallest text is going to be text dash XS, and up to SM set text dash SM, and up to MD set text to base. Let's check this out. So for LG, it will have the full column. Then it will decrease the text size. Let's decrease the padding left and right from this layout, from the subpages layout. So the smallest value of padding left and right is going to be the 8, and up to XS it will be 16, and it will stay 32 up to LG. Now for the padding top and bottom, let's keep it to 20 as it is. And now it looks much better. Let's open the about details, and inside this item layout we have a padding 8, set it to padding 6, and it will have padding 8 up to small screens. Now up to LG, keep the call span to 4, set call dash span dash full for smaller screen. Up to XS, set call span to 6. Let's copy this and paste it here as well. Also let's decrease the text size. So right now it is text 5XL. So instead let's set the text to XL, and it will stay 5XL up to small screens. Let's copy this and paste it here as well. And looks great. Now let's change the column size for these images. So set call span dash full for smaller screens, and for the SM set call span to 6, and for the MD keep it as a call span 4. Now here set call span to full, and for the medium screen keep the call span to 8. Let's copy this. It will be the same for this one and this one as well. And let's check this out. Looks great. Now let's make the project's page responsive. go to the projects, open the page, and now for the staff, after the 1024, we will move the staff at the center of the screen. All right, for that, for up to large screen, let's set top to 20, else set top to 16. Now for this left, which is minus 24, keep it as it is up to LG. Then we'll set the left to 1/2, and along with that we will have minus translate x 1/2, and for the LG, translate x should be 0. Let's save this. As you can see, it is moved right here. Let's keep the set index to minus 10. Now it looks much better. Now let's open this project list. Now here the max width is 4 XL. So first let's set max width auto for the smaller screens, and for up to XL, let's keep it as max width to 4 XL. Now padding left and right is 16, so let's keep it as it is up to the large screen. Else we will set padding left and right to 4, and set margin left and right to auto. Now here the space Y is 8. Let's set it as it is up to the MD. Else set space Y to 6. Let's save this. And looks great. Now let's change the project layout. Now up to MD, keep the padding to 6, as set padding to 4. And let's decrease the text size as well. Set text to SM, and up to MD, keep the text to base. Now let's hide the description for the smaller screens. So go to the description, it should be hidden, and up to the SM, just write inline block, and it's gone. Now let's change the text date color for the smaller screen to text muted, and keep text foreground up to smaller screens. That's it. And looks great. Now let's open the contact page. Let's increase the padding top and bottom. So set PY to 8, and for the smaller screen, it will be the PY 8, and more than the SM, it will have a PY 0. It looks great. Let's use width dash full for smaller, and width 3/4 up to SM. Now for the paragraph, set the text size to SM, and up to XS, it will be the text dash base. Now let's make this form a bit responsive than this one. So open the form. I guess for the form we won't have to make any changes. since it is already looking good in the mobile screen. Okay, so I guess our whole portfolio is responsive. Now let's see how we can have this amazing animation. So if I reload this, it has this amazing animation. So let's see how we can implement that. So for that, we are going to use the framer motion, and in the framer motion we will use the stagger children. So let me open that. Just write framer motion stagger children. So if you see, if I open this menu, it will display this item one by one. So we are going to have animation similar to this one. Let me close all this and let's open the navigation. We will use the motion from framer motion, and then we will directly use it in the div. So in this div, let's write motion.div, and here, for example, let me write the initially. It will have scale to 0, and while in view, it will have scale to 1. So there is a slight animation. Now instead of this, we are going to use the container. So just write const container equals. So for the initial, let's name it as a hidden property. We can keep any property, for example, opacity to, let's say, 0. And when it will show, it will have opacity to 1. And let's add the transition. And inside this transition, we will have stagger children to 0.3. So that means the any children inside this div, it will have a stagger animation. So after the 0.3 second, each children will appear. Let's see how we can use this container directly inside this div. So we can use something called variance, and in the variance you can directly pass the container. And let's set the property to hidden for the initial and show for the animate. So it will not work because we have yet to implement in the new buttons. So let's open the new button and let's import the motion. Now same as we did for the container, we will also create a variant for the item as well. So after this get icon, let's define the item value, and for the hidden, show the scale to 0, and for the show, set scale to 1. Let's use this item. Now we are not going to use the inside this div, but instead we are going to use it inside the link. So just write variance equal to item, and that's it. Now this will not work because we have yet to write something like motion.link, but since link is a component, so we have to define it like this. So constant nav link equal to motion, and inside that let's pass the link. So we'll use this nav link instead of simpler links. Let's copy this and here as well. Let's save this and reload this page. As you can see, it looks great. Let's implement this same for the mobile responsive buttons as well. So you just have to copy this and paste it in this div. Let's check this for the mobile version, and looks great. Now let's add animation in all the different pages. So let's open the about, and here we will add animation in this items. So let's open the item layout. Instead of this div, let's write motion.div. Make sure to import the motion from framer motion, and we have to make it as a use client, because without the client component it will not work. So instead of this, let's create this separate component, item layout.jsx, and paste everything to here. And we'll make this as a client component, so we don't have to use this main component as the client component. Let's import it. Now in this div, initially we will have scale to 0, and now while in view, that means whenever the component is in the viewport, we will increase the scale to 1 and set the transition to, let's add duration 0.5 seconds, and that's it. Let's check this out. Let me load it. Alright, looks great, and it is animating again and again. So let's add viewport and set once to true. That means it will animate only for the once. That's it. Now let's go to the projects page, and same as we did for this navigation, let's implement the stagger animation for the project elements. So let's open the project layout. Let's go to the new button. Let's copy this and paste it right here. Instead of link, let's use new links, and in the variants, let's pass the item. Now here, instead of scale, let's add the opacity. Along with that, let's add y to 100. That means it will start from the bottom, y to 0 up to top. Now since we have defined items here, we have to add the stagger children property in the parent component, which is right here. So let's go to the navigation, copy this and paste it right here. Just write motion.div and add these values. We also have to make this as a use client or the animation will not work. So this stagger children is 0.3. Let's delay every children up to 1.5 seconds. Let's save this. Motion is not defined. And here it is. So let me reload this. And looks great. Now let's add the animation for this home button as well. Let's use nav link equal to motion and pass the link. Let's make it as client component. Use the nav link. So initially we will set the scale to 0. Then we will animate it to 1. Let's delay it by 1 second. That's it. And here it is. All right, let's go to the contact page. Let's animate the form. Now in this form, we will also use this stagger animation. So for that, let's go to the navigation, copy this container, as well as the item from nav button. Let's import the motion from framer motion. And let's add this container first. Let's make this simple form into motion.form and copy this one to the form. And let's make all the inputs into a motion component. So just write motion.input. And in the variants, let's use this item. That's it. Let's reload it. Let's delay the children a bit to 0.2. We forgot to add the motion here. And this looks much better. Now all the animations are completed and the site is fully responsive. Now only one thing is left is to add this music. So let's do that. Now let me close all this, and inside the components, let's create one component called sound.jsx. Let's make it as client component, and let's import it inside the main root layout, which is right here. That's it. Now for this sound, let's add the class name in the div, set the position to fixed, top to 4 and right to 2.5. Now this is for the smaller screens, but more than the 480 pixel, we will set the right to 4 and z index to 50 and add the group. So here it is. Now in this div, we will add the audio element and keep it in the loop. Now inside this audio, let's add the source for this audio. So src, so slash audio slash birds. Let's remove this public, and for the type, let's write audio slash mpg. Now otherwise we will just write your browser does not support the audio element. Now after this audio, we will have one button same as the home button. So let's go to the home button. Let's just copy this and paste it right here. Now instead of navlink, we'll use the motion dot button. So make sure you import the motion. So initially scale is 0, 1 and delay is 1. All right, let's remove this. We don't need the target. Let's keep the class name as it is. Let's remove all this. So here's the sound. So let's move it to the right instead of left. Now here, first let's define one state to manage the whether the music is playing or not. So just write use state is playing. It should be false initially. And let's create one toggle function as well. So this will toggle the value of the playing state. Now on click on this button, we will use this toggle function, and here if the is playing state is true, then we will show one volume 2 icon from the Lucid React. Let's add the class name to width full h full text foreground, and on group hover it should show text dash accent. Set the stroke width to 1.5. As we will show the volume X icon. Make sure you import both of the icons from the Lucid React. Looks great. Let's add the padding here. Actually, let's remove all this for now. Just set the width to 10, edge to 10 for the small screen. Set width to 14 for the larger screen, and same for the height as well. Set text to foreground, round it to full. Set flex items center, justify center as well, and cursor to pointer. Set z index to 50. set P to 2.5, and for the larger screen set padding to 4. That's it. Let's add the custom background as well, custom -bg, and this looks great. Now let's see how we can play the music. Now let's create one ref, audio ref equal to use ref. Let's copy this and attach it to the audio element. Now in the toggle function, first we will check if is playing is true, then audio ref dot current dot play as audio ref dot current dot pause. Let's see if this is working or not. Let me reload it. It is initially it is false, and it is working. All right, now let's see how we can store these values in the local storage. So first, after this, let's use the local storage dot set item. Use the music consent and pass the string value of is playing state. So instead of this, let me just write new state equal to is playing. All right, and let's see if this is working or not. Go to the application and in the local storage, let me click on this. It is true, and if I click again, it is false. All right, it's working fine. Now what if the user has already true in the music consent, and when you reload the page, it should start playing the music, but it will not work since the browser will not autoplay the music unless you interact with the website. So how we will know that the user has interacted or not? For that, we are going to use the use effect to detect that event. So let's create one use effect, and inside the dependency, we don't want anything right now. First, let's get the consent value from the local storage dot get item. Just write music consent, and if that is consent, then we will set the is playing state to true. That means if the consent equal to true, then it will play the music. And again, if consent is equal to true in a string, then we will set up an event listeners for the first user interaction to play the music. So for that, we can use like click event or key down or the touch start event. So for each of this event, we will create event handler. So let's write document dot add event handler, event listener, and add the event and just write handle first user interaction function. So this is the function that will create right here. Just write function name. Now first let's get this consent here as well. So music consent. So if there is music consent is equal to true and the is playing state is false, that means this condition will become true. Then we will play the music dot current dot play and set the is playing state to true as well. All right, and let's clean up this events. So just copy this, just write document dot remove event listener, just pass event and the function. That's it. Now let's save this. And so right now the music consent is true. Let me refresh this. So it will set the playing state to true as well, but right now the music will not play unless I click. So let me click and the music is playing. That means the user has interacted and it will play the music. Now let's create the modal so that on the first interaction it will ask the user whether they like to play the background music or not. Like for that we can use the create portal function. So let me create the modal. So this modal will have on close function and toggle function. So let's return a create portal function. Now this function will have the modal, and we also have to define the element where you want to display the model. Now I have used this create portal, so it will use this it will render this model outside of the current tree of the current DOM tree. So make sure to import this create portal from the React DOM, and here we can have something like document dot get element by ID, and for the ID let's pass the my dash modal. All right, now we have to define this element so that the create portal will display this modal inside this element. So go to the root layout and let's create this element. Go to the div, let's use the self-closing div with ID my dash modal. That's it. All right, now let's create this modal. Now in the first div, let's add the class name, set the display to fixed, and set 0 pg dash background slash, let's set it to 60, backdrop to sm display flex items center justify to center as well. Now here inside this div, let's create one more div which will display the modal content. So set the background and with 20 opacity, border dash accent slash 30, border dash solid, backdrop blur to 6 pixel. Set padding top and bottom to 8, padding left and right to 6 for the smaller screens, but for the like bigger screen, set px to 10, and for the SM, set px to 16. Set rounded and shadow to glass inset, and text to center. Set space y to 8. Now here first we will display message inside the paragraph that says do you like to play the background music? Now after this paragraph, let's add two buttons. One says yes and other says no. Let's add this button inside a div. Let's add class name to this paragraph. Set font to font dash light. Now for this div, set the display to flex, items to center, justify to center as well, and set space x to 4. For both of these buttons, let's add class name, set padding left and right to 4, padding top and bottom to 2, set border dash accent slash 30, set border dash solid, and on hover we will show this shadow dash glass SM and keep it rounded. Alright, and for the first button, let's set MR to 2. Now on click of the yes, it will call the toggle function, but on click on the no, it will call the on close function. So that's it for the modal. Now let's see how we can implement this modal. For that we have to create one more state that says show modal or set show modal. Initially it is false. Now let's see how we can set this state. So copy this set show modal, and here in the if condition, as mentioned, that if there is a consent, that means the item is already in the local storage, then we will do this. As if it is not in the local storage, then we will use this set modal to true. And whenever someone toggle the sound button, then we will set it to false. Alright, now inside this div, let's add the condition to display the modal. So if the show modal is true, then we'll display the modal component by passing the on close. That means it will just set show modal state to false and toggle to toggle function. So that's it. Now let's save this and check it out. Now first, modal will not be displayed since local storage has already the consent value. Let me delete this and reload this again. And here is the modal. It is mobile responsive. So if I say yes, then it will store the value and play the music. But let me again reload this. If I say no, it will not say store anything in the local storage, and it will also keep the is playing state as it is. So that's it for the music. Now one more thing I'd like to add is the consent time, because let's say we can display the model after the, let's say, few days, 3 to 4 days, then we also have to store the consent time. We just have to add few things for that. Now in the toggle state, whenever you set the local storage item, let's store one more item called consent time. And here we will store the new date dot to ISO string. That's it. And now with the consent inside the use effect, we'll also get the consent time, and we will check. So first is the if consent, and if, let's say, the new date at the consent time dot get time plus 3 days 24 hours into 60 minutes into 60 seconds into 1000 milliseconds is greater than now dot is greater than new date. So here first it is checking if the consent is there, and then it is checking if the consent time is there, and if consent time is there, then it will check if the consent time plus 3 days is greater than the current date. Then it will run this condition. Let's save this and check both of this out. Let me reload. Let's say yes. So it will store the consent time and music consent as well. So if I remove this, it will again ask, because we don't have a consent time. So just say yes and it will play the music. So this is like this component, you can use it anywhere you like, because it has like all the things you need in the local storage. You can have both the consent time and music consent, and it is not only for the sound, but you can use this for different type of pop-ups that you want to show on your website, such as like cookies and everything. So that's it. Let's see if we miss anything. Okay, this is home, this is about page. Make sure to use your own APIs to show the states. And let me go to the projects page. Looks great. Let's go to the contact. Let's fill up this form. All right, everything is working fine. Now let's implement a few things for the performance of the images. Let's open the main page, and in the image, let's add two things. First is the priority, so it will load the image faster, and next is the size. Keep the size to 100 viewport width. It is sizes. Let's copy both of this and go to the about page. Let's add in the image, and let's add in the contact image as well, and in the project as well. Now let's import the models using the dynamic imports. So just import the dynamic from the next/dynamic, right? Const, we have staff, so just write dynamic, and in here we will have an arrow function, and write import. Let's copy this path and comment this out. That's it, and let's set the SSR value to false. So this will import this models dynamically. Let's copy this and do the same for the about page. Let's copy this and go to the main page. That's it. That's the end of this tutorial. Now my purpose to create this kind of tutorial is to show you multiple things that you can do. For example, while creating this portfolio, we have used Three.js to render this 3D models. We have used framer motion to add different types of animations. And not only that, we have used the React hook form to display and manage the form component along with the sooner to display the pop-up messages like a toast. And so I want you to learn all this and implement your own version of the portfolio and tag me, or you can tag my GitHub profile from right here, or you can also like start this repo, which will also support me in some way. I only want you to share this video as much as possible and support this channel for more such amazing content. And if you have any queries, please reach out to me on my email address or on the social media. And thanks for watching, and keep coding.